During the previous videos, we mentioned many times that the program is completely customizable by the end user. So we are going to start to see what we meant with completely customizable by seeing, first of all, the general settings. So let's see. On general settings, in the first overview, we can see the main information that we have also set up at the time that we used the first time the program, and we set up by using the wizard. So we have the case folder, so the folder in which we are going to save all our data and cases, which can be modified. The language still can be modified. The log level, so we are going to be informed in a normal way if there are errors or detailed log information. So this is a super technical aspect that is going to be used by our technician. So by proceeding, we have some proxy address that we can use. We can define the printer for the tickets for the labels to usually applied in on the top of our digital evidence, and we have also all the printer information and the possibility to connect the program with a printer for this type of tickets and labels. By switching from system settings, we can see the autocomplete settings. So on autocomplete settings, how the name it suggests, here we have a series of autocomplete areas. So those suggestions that we saw also at the time of the creation of the case, in fact, we have it here. On case type, as you can see, we can see actually the three type of cases that we usually work with. So the criminal proceeding, the civil proceedings, the data extraction. By using this button, as the tooltip suggests, you can modify the name of the template, we can delete it, or we can create a new case type. So malware analysis, for example. So if we add this new case type, once we create a new case, we have also the option as malware analysis, and we add this case type in this area because lately, most of the time in our lab, we receive a lot of malware analysis requests. So it is suggested to apply it also here instead of writing every time malware analysis. This is for case type, which was one of the examples that we saw once we created the case, but it can be for documents type. So we may have the appointment confirming document, the auxiliary appointment, the performance activities document. So if none of them is part of our documentation that we need to apply, we can just modify them, delete them, or add a new one. Credential types will be the same, so this we are going to see it on the evidence and the type of credential that usually we have on smartphone, computer, and so on. So PIN, password, and pattern, but we can of course modify it. Storage media types, so also this we saw it during the creation of the case. These are the type of storage media that we usually provide, but we can of course delete or add something new. Appellation, person roles, case type we have already said, jurisdiction, evidence status. And for evidence status, this is going to be super useful and is going to be related with a custom task. And with the evidence status, we actually have the possibility to define the status for each evidence. So we are going to see later on a to-do. It means that we still need to perform any kind of activities on the evidence, and we are going to be alerted by the program if we try to generate the report and if we may have still some to-do evidence. Another status can be the alert, not acquirable, acquired, or analyzed. For each of these status, that of course can be modified also at the time of the alerts, the colors, the names, and so on, can all be modified, deleted, changed as you prefer. And those evidence status will be related to the custom task. We have seen the custom task list once we created a new case. This task is mainly a list of activities that we usually do for the correct and complete analysis of the evidence. This comes really useful because most of the time forensics experts work at the same time in many cases, and they may have to wait for some analysis results, availability for the tools for the analysis, and many other aspects that you know very well. So for this reason, having at disposal a list of tasks that we have to perform comes essential to avoid possible missing information. In fact, while proceeding with the case analysis, the task list consent to control the activities that are already done and the ones that are on wait. And really, this is going to help so much with the management of the evidence analysis. And in addition, for forensic expert to work every day in different type of cases and with different type of evidence that requires specific task list. So as you can see, also once we create the case, we have selected this generic list, which can be also renamed like for criminal proceeding task list, because it's actually the one that we are going to use only for criminal proceedings. So we have specific activities to perform, like the application of the labels, the adding of the photos, the import of the reports, and the creation of the final storage supports. So this is something that we really have to do every time that we work with criminal proceeding. We may have different task list for the malware analysis, and you see now we have created a second list, and from here we can keep on adding all the type of activities that we need to perform in case of a malware analysis. So it's super simple and super useful. By moving on string from settings, here we have the way that the things are going to be wrote inside the template and inside the template. So the case type, the case name, and eventually we are going to keep the location. So anytime that we have a case, we are going to see case type, so criminal proceeding, case name, case 1234, and location. In our case is Asolo. And for short name short case name, it will be just the name of the case and the location. If we want to delete the location, we do not want to see the location, or we just also for the short case name, we just want the case name. So we can decide what type of information to display inside the program, and then of course inside the final reports. This goes for the case name, will go of course for the person, how we are going to write the person, so appellation, surname, name, and eventually the role and the company. The separator will be this one, which can be modified, and as person, as a, let me say, a shortcode, and related content such as the hierarchy inside the case creation, we are going to have person, which include appellation, surname, name, role, and company, is appointed by appellation, surname, name, role, and company. If we would like to see the person with a name and surname, we just need to switch here the name before surname. So Now we are going to see appellations such as Mr. Investigator Cube as investigator from Cube. This is going to be our person, and this is going to be the separator. Moving on, we have the storage media, so also related to the storage media and how it will be placed into the final report, it will be the short case name, the type of the storage media, and the drive number, with additional notes if provided. Extraction. With extraction, we are going to see the type of the instrumentation and the type of extraction. And finally, we have the case ticket, so how we are going to print those tickets with the case information. And then finally we have the script settings. So with script settings we actually can add specific features that are available in our computer or online in order to be super fast and quickly to reach them out. So for instance, if we work constantly with a UFOD Celebrate reader in order to perform the analysis and keep on adding all the information on the analysis area, we can apply the script about UFOD Celebrate here in order to have the button, the dedicated button on the top of the case interface in order to just click it and open the Celebrate reader. Of course, as we saw before, if we modify something here, we need to save those information and then we keep on. Of course, if we close this window, the program will ask us to if we want to save the information that we have modified. Another important thing here is the possibility to export the configuration. So everything that we have modified here on the autocomplete settings, the string format, but also then, as we are going to see later on, the evidence, the tools, the reports, the string formats, and so on, it can be exported. It can be exported in order to maybe provide it to a colleague that maybe needs a similar configuration. You just need to change the examiner information, so maybe we are not going to export the examiner data, but all the templates and all these things can be exported in order to provide it to a colleague or to use it in another computer. And by clicking this button, of course, we can import those configurations. We export log files, we are going to export all the logs related to the program.